All right, here's where we are 5 days after Munich. And honestly, the fan mood right now is one of the strangest we've seen all season. It's not rage anymore, it's not grief. It's this weird, almost detached energy, like fans have emotionally checked out of 2025 to 26, but don't know what to do with the games that are still left.
Madre mia, that's exactly it. I've been going through comments all morning, and the dominant feeling isn't anger, it's exhaustion. One fan put it perfectly. I'm watching the rest of the season like I'm watching a film I already know ends badly. That's where the fan base is right now, Tio.
And into this emotionally depleted fan base, we drop a Sunday La Liga match against Deportivo Alavés tomorrow. And fans are genuinely split on what this game even means. Some want it to be a statement, some want it to be a youth showcase, and a surprisingly loud group just wants it to be over.
The "just give the kids minutes" faction is growing fast. Fans are saying things like, play Mastantuono for 90, play Gonzalo Garcia, let's actually see something worth watching. There's this real appetite for the season to mean something, even if the trophies are gone.
But here's the counter-argument that's also floating around, and I think it's actually interesting. Some fans are saying Arbeloa needs to win these games precisely because his job evaluation is ongoing. One comment said, if Arbeloa parks the bus and grinds a 1-0, at least we know he can manage a result. If he goes full experimental and loses to Alavés, that's it. There's a real tension there.
Vamos, that's the Arbeloa paradox right now. Damned if he wins conventionally, damned if he experiments and loses. The fan base has basically put him in an impossible position. And after what we discussed earlier this week, with fans already counting his days out loud, every decision tomorrow gets scrutinized like it's a Champions League final.
Speaking of things fans are scrutinizing, the Camavinga story dropped this week and it has generated a fascinating reaction. The report is that Camavinga doesn't want to leave, that he knows he's going through a rough patch, but he's not thinking about leaving the club. And fans are divided in a really interesting way.
Divided is an understatement. Some fans are genuinely moved by it. He's a Madridista, he wants to fight for his place, respect that. Others are basically saying loyalty is fine, but the straight red card in Munich is not something you just move past with a nice quote. Que barbaridad, the comments were brutal.
One fan said, and I'm translating this directly, I don't care if he wants to stay. The question is whether we want him to stay. He cost us the tie with that red card. And that's a sentiment that has a lot of upvotes. It's not personal with Camavinga. It's about consequences.
But here's what I keep coming back to, and we touched on this after the match. That red card happened because Arbeloa brought him on in the first place. The fans who are most upset at Camavinga are sometimes the same ones who said the substitution decision was the real crime. You can't have it both ways, Tio.
Actually, you kind of can. And the smartest fans are making that exact nuance. Arbeloa made a questionable call bringing him on, and Camavinga made the worst possible decision once he was on. Two separate failures, both contributing to the same catastrophe.
That's fair. And now the question is, does Camavinga start tomorrow against Alavés? Because that's going to be a real litmus test for how Arbeloa handles this politically. Start him, and it looks like there are no consequences. Don't start him, and suddenly there's a whole other story.
Now, the other big conversation this week, and this one is generating genuine excitement in some corners of the fanbase, which is refreshing, is the Trent Alexander-Arnold versus Carvajal situation. With the World Cup coming, and both of them fighting for match fitness and form, fans are invested in this battle in a way they haven't been invested in much lately.
This is the one topic where fans seem actually energized rather than defeated, and I get it. We've spent days talking about what went wrong. The Trent-Carvajal dynamic is genuinely compelling. Two completely different players, two different ideas of what the right-back position means, and both of them with something massive to prove before the summer.
Fans are splitting into camps hard on this one. The Trent camp says he's the future. He brings things Carvajal never could with the ball. The Carvajal camp, and there are more of them than you'd think, says Trent hasn't proven he can handle the defensive demands at Madrid's level. Both camps have evidence from this season.
One fan put it in a way that really stuck with me. Trent is a luxury car without insurance. Brilliant when it works, terrifying when it doesn't. And honestly, that's not unfair. The Bayern games defensively were rough for the whole team. But Trent's positioning came up in the comments a lot.
But look at the Girona match data. Carvajal started that game, and we drew 1-1. Trent started both Bayern legs. The sample size is small, and the opponents are wildly different, so fans drawing massive conclusions either way are probably overreaching. But the debate is real, and it matters for next season's squad planning.
Tomorrow against Alavés is genuinely interesting from this angle. Whoever starts at right back, however they perform, fans are going to be watching with a magnifying glass. These end-of-season games that don't matter suddenly matter a lot when there's a position battle with World Cup implications attached.
The other storyline that's quietly building, and I want to give this its due because it's actually a feel-good story in a very dark week, is La Fábrica. The Real Madrid youth teams are still competing, still fighting, and there are fans who are completely redirecting their emotional energy toward the juvenile and the filial.
Venga, this is real. After Munich, multiple fans said things like, "At least the kids are keeping the flag flying." There's genuine warmth around the academy right now. Maybe because the first team has been so disappointing, or maybe because Mastantuono coming on in Munich and Gonzalo Garcia getting minutes has reminded people there's actually a pipeline.
And the defensive rebuild conversation is crystallizing around that pipeline too. Fans have been pointing out all week that the 3 defensive signings, and we discussed this, none of them have truly nailed down their positions. Huijsen, Asensio, Carreras, there's talent there, but no one has been dominant. And fans are asking whether the solution was already in the academy all along.
The most interesting comment I saw on this was someone saying, "We spent big on the defense and we're still playing Rudiger, who got a yellow card in Munich and is somehow still our most reliable center-back at 33. That's a brutal assessment, but it's hard to argue with, Madre Mia.
And Rudiger's contract situation, his age, what comes next, fans are already thinking about it. The rebuild debate has moved past, should we sell Mbappé, which we've covered extensively, and into, what does the entire defensive structure look like in 2026-27? That's actually a healthier conversation, even if it comes from pain.
So where does all of this leave us heading into tomorrow? Fans want to see something, anything, that feels like a step toward a better version of this team. Whether that's youth minutes, a position battle, a clean sheet, some structure. The Alavés match is low stakes on paper, but emotionally it carries the weight of everything fans are hoping for from the rest of this season.
And tomorrow morning we'll be back with our full Alavés pre-match episode, looking at the lineup choices, what Arbeloa signals with his selections, and what the fans are expecting. There's still football to play, Tio. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid, and look, even in the darkest week of the season, the conversations are still going, the passion is still there. That's what Ruido Blanco is about. We'll see you tomorrow morning.